You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Miriam Gonzalez and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Mixology After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Mixology After Show.
Hey there, AfterBuzzers! It's us. We are back for Mixology.
Woo!
Season 1, episode 13, and it is called Closing Time. I am your ever reappearing, disappearing host, Miriam Gonzalez.
And we're all here today.
Yeah.
I'm back with my ever so fabulous co-host here to my right.
I am very happy to be here.
Whoa. Stephaune. Across the table from me are my ladies. Introduce yourselves, girls.
Hi, I'm Courtney Nejedly.
Hi, I'm Candice Buenrostro.
And tonight is our season finale, Closing Time for Mixology for season 1. And we start with a variety of things. Now, we follow these characters throughout the night, and there's a couple of things that happen to get the night closed off, where you have the guys giving a pep talk to each other and the girls giving a pep talk. And I like how the guys pep talk when Tom finally gets the thumbs up from Maya that he can take her home. And there's when they finally tell Tom, you literally have 8 minutes to get her out of this bar before she changes her mind.
Yeah.
To your place before she changes her mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's very difficult to. There's so many nuances that go into the dating whole world, and especially when it comes down to closing a woman to get her home and naked on a. We're talking one night stands.
Yes.
I mean, let's be real with each other. This is a one night stand that we're talking about. This is sex on the first night. This is, we just met in a bar. Tom literally says, Maya, it was so good to meet you at the random bar. We'll always have the memories of. It's like, there are no memories. It's all one night.
Can we just back up, though? They talk about 8 minutes. Is that a written thing? Like, where do we get 8
I don't
minutes
think so.
from?
No.
Well, anything could happen in between the bar closing and getting home. And the things that could happen is this. One, the girl could be too drunk. She could pass out.
Right.
She could
Or throw up, because that's happening.
Yes,
That's gross.
she could throw up. 2, someone more attractive when you go to pay the bill could come by.
Swoop in.
As we saw for poor Bruce last episode, you know, the girl with the eye patch had another option. Like, there's all these other options. Somebody better could come along.
And then they also had the option of an angry cab driver.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, it's all distractions. It's
Or
all,
sobering up.
Exactly.
you definitely don't want to
Beer
sober
goggles.
up. That's going to kill you.
Like all of this
Especially Fab with her Hawaii 5-0.
Exactly. A lot could happen in a very short amount of time where you're like, what am I doing?
But, I mean, if you haven't laid the groundwork, how disgusting can the scramble of the end of the night sexcapade, because it's like it's an Olympic event to have sex on the first night.
Absolutely. I mean,
It's crazy.
In
You
that
can end up with anything.
Exactly.
Like a Fab.
Yeah. In that 8 minutes, you could be like, oh, no, I don't even have a condom. I got to run to the store. Wah, wah, wah.
Unprepared.
Unprepared. Anything could happen.
I'm not accustomed to these kinds of nights, sadly.
Anything could happen in 8 minutes. And so the pep talk happens with the guys. Now, with the girls, on the other hand, you have the girl pep talk where Casey comes by and she's like super excited. You know, he's going to make a good father. How extreme is that? And Fab gives her the reality check, you know, that have you
Have you
Google
looked into
him.
his background?
have you ran the plates?
Speaking of, you know, this extreme scenario where Casey says this, then there was, on the other hand, I mean, it was a different episode, but Dominic was like, you know, he was ready to commit in a way that she's kind of doing so with Cal, which I find ironic and interesting.
Yeah.
He was just trying it on for size, which
Right,
is nice.
right. And I think she's kind of joking, too, especially considering he's been married 4 times, and he says in the very end, you know, I promise we won't get married.
She's a girl from Ohio who the ideal situation for her is to get married.
Right.
And so knowing that they connect on so many levels, of course she goes to the extreme and says that. But once the reality check comes in and, you know, Fab and Jessica help her run the plate, so to speak.
I love how they were helping her do the background check. Like, you can do a background check. You need to Google him.
That's
true.
great.
It's true.
But I feel like that's crazy. That was
what
crazy,
Facebook is
Fab.
now.
And Jessica was kind of not with it. She's like, listen, everything she's saying is wrong. If you listen to or looked at Jessica's face, she's going, you don't have to do license plates. You don't have to do, it's not necessary to go that deep. It wasn't that big of a deal.
You do a little bit because you want to know.
Y'all
He's been
Googling
married.
dudes
She wanted to.
I Facebook him. I don't necessarily Google him.
in the club. This is
Well, yeah, you kind of want to know what you're working with.
remember. This is the same day. This is one night.
But then I back up and think, I mean, very rarely are you with somebody you're interested in and then walk away and then come back to that either. So you don't necessarily have that time. It's usually the following day after you did the deed that you go, oh my gosh, who is this guy?
You don't want to do it necessarily that very moment in that night. You want to give him a chance to tell me who you are, because that's just crazy. That's extreme crazy. What Fab did was running the plates before even giving him a chance.
And she definitely didn't
to
do that
explain
with
himself.
Hawaii Five-0. So.
Exactly. She didn't give him a chance.
You don't want to Google him that next morning on their own computer.
No.
While they're asleep. Like, hey.
And refresh their history and find
Exactly.
out who this dude is. You're like, oh, wait a minute.
Please don't check my Facebook when you're, on my computer over there.
Well, you shouldn't be on any dudes. First off, if you one night standing with a guy, you might need to just get out of the house.
Wait, so you're not going to get married with a one-night stand? It's
Unless
not
you're
love?
Cal and Casey. I mean, they're talking about fatherhood, marriage, everything is on the table with them. But we're talking this is the Olympics of the club. This is the first night sex, and I'm not saying that I'm all for it. I'm saying this is what we're talking about.
It happens.
It's reality.
It happens all the time. It happens every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And,
And in LA,
Monday,
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
Wednesday,
Thursday, Sunday.
That goes for New York, too.
But, I love how and I predicted it, Dominic, of course, ends up alone.
Yeah.
He wound up going home with no one.
Well, with Dom, I don't think anybody was worried or cares.
Yeah, I don't think he cared either.
They didn't revisit it because Dom could pull somebody
He's going
at
to
the
get
cab,
laid no matter
Yeah.
what.
at the cab stand, and
He
close.
initially was going to leave with Jessica. They were initially going to leave together. And then, of course, Bruce winds up going up to her.
That
and
threw me for a loop.
Well, I like how
It did.
Bruce thought he was going to go home and wind up masturbating at the end of the night. And then all of a sudden, Pumpkin Pounder walks in.
And he says, I'm going to smash that.
He was so excited and so giddy, like a kid in a candy store. And she was hot.
Yeah.
She was. But Jessica really wasn't fazed by it. I mean,
A little.
she was like, yeah, she's pretty, but it took her a while to come around. Like, she could have gone right then and there with Bruce, but instead she kind of took the long way around it. And then obviously we know she shows up at the restaurant to get waffles, which
Well, that's a lot to process.
It makes me actually think. It makes me think, did she go home with Dominic first?
That's what I thought. She went and had a quickie and then met him for waffles.
she got a 2-for-1.
I think that she could have, but I think she played it all wrong. So I don't think she went home with Dominic. I think going home is way too far. Taking off all your clothes, going through the whole sexcapade, and then getting dressed again and going out, unrealistic. I think if they would have smashed at the bar, it could have worked. But they opted to go taxi. So, she had to dump Dominic.
But did you see Dominic's face at the end? He just looked like he had just gotten laid. He was so content laying in bed, and it just kind of...
Because he doesn't process anything.
That's true.
His mind's not processing any
And,
thoughts.
and, you know, like you were saying, literally, he could be walking home and be like, you know, get 25 women vying for him. So that's just who he is. And, you know, obviously he's nice eye candy to look at. So this is consistent. I mean, literally, he could have a new woman 7 days a week if that's what he wanted, because that's who he is and that's what he goes for.
Much love to Dominic. He's never threatened. He's never insecure about what he can do. Bruce comes over. He says a whole speech in front of his face. And Dominic's like, he's a nice guy.
Actually, I mean, if you think about it,
Never threatened.
Dominic probably made love to himself in the mirror as he did in that one episode with Casey.
That's
that
true.
Casey, you know, totally mistook it for her. So he probably gave himself a whole pep talk and saying, you know, I love you, you're the best, you made a lot of money today, you were pulling tail left and right. I mean, he did get laid, what, like twice earlier in the night from Casey?
Yeah.
Which is really kind of weird because she's now going to go smash with Cal.
Ooh.
Double
Wait,
dipping.
Secondhand smoke.
Is this a word that I need to be familiar with?
Courtney,
Smash?
welcome to 2014.
Clearly, I am.
People been smashing since For the Love of Ray J, like 2008.
What?
I just thought it was Bruce.
¿Cómo?
I want to smash that pumpkin. I just thought it was like a play on words.
Smashing Pumpkins. That was a good band. No,
Sorry.
no.
Epic fail over here.
You know, I just want to say I love that. Again, another shout out to the writers. You know, I'm so sad that this is a season finale that is the end of all seasons for them, and we do hope that their writing is so strong, and I felt like the show was so strong that somebody picks it up, or at somewhere along the lines this does catch fire, because it is really hot. I loved that the writers had Bruce be this disgusting, vulgar man for the entire season.
He evolved. At the
But
end.
he turns in. They turn him into. They don't close him as this vulgar guy. He turns into what she called him, the homeless veteran. He turns into. You know, he's actually really sweet inside. He's super nice. He says the right things. He's a good dude.
Absolutely.
He's a good dude.
Except for that last scene where they're in the restaurant. He's like, I don't know, something about an old lady.
He's like, hey, old lady, we want
hey,
waffle
hairnet.
stack.
Yeah, exactly. He was just very. I don't know if well, yes, but if I were that old lady and didn't know Bruce, I'd be like, get your own damn pancakes.
Of course. But he's always on the line of offense.
Yeah,
That
that's true.
is why you love Bruce.
That's right.
He's the guy. That's what attracted. The one thing that he said to Jessica, which is what made her go ultimately to the diner, you know, in the end, was that the best part of his night was that they had, you know, great conversation. And when she got to the diner, she goes, you know, I realized that that was the same thing for her.
And so now you look back on, because I just want to, let's just big up Bruce for a few minutes, because he is our narrator for the entire season. You look back, and every time Bruce was in a meaningful moment with a woman, they all had a great time. Think about Maya and Bruce.
Yes.
Maya enjoyed herself immensely. Jessica, best part of her night. You know, all these hot women and Bruce, they're having these great conversations. Bruce is a great dude.
Yeah.
He's also a great friend, regardless of his exterior. I love that he said, you know, go bang Cal, go bang Cal. And I know that sounds vulgar or whatever, but in my eyes, I looked at it like, what a great friend. He's saying, listen, I got something on the hook here, and I don't have a whole lot of time, but my point is, go be with Cal. He's a great dude. You're going to love him. He's going to love you. Just go bang Cal. Go, go, go.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily
Friendship.
feel like it came across as he's a great friend. I definitely think he was a great friend when he was like, no, he's a really good dude. You know, so what if he's been married 3 times and then you tried to cover that up? Because he was so focused on Pumpkin Pounder that it was almost like he just was trying to get rid of Casey.
See, I saw it different.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I saw it different.
No, I see it exactly the way that you see it. And it's the fact that when he realized that he was messing up, And he said, he's like, listen, lady, you have 90 seconds to tell me, to talk to me about the situation. And when he slipped and he said that he was married to a woman named Rose, when initially it was a woman named Rachel. Now Cal's been married 3 times to Rachel, Rose, and Eve. He goes, well, her name was Rose, Eve, Rachel, Garcia.
Which is awesome. That's so awesome.
And so he was like, he's one of the good ones. And Cal is one of the good ones. As we reflect back several episodes back when they kind of did the flashback of Cal's life and how many times he's been married and the kind of women that he's been married, he's the hopeless romantic as Casey is as well. They're from the same town. They're from the same sort of situation. Yep. And so that's why for Casey to say, he's going to make a good father. They're on the same playing field.
Absolutely.
So when Cal comes and says, I'm not going to marry you, obviously he's going to wind up marrying her.
Of course.
They're going to wind up falling in love and being together forever because that's the kind of people that they are. And so...
Which is evident when he says, listen, I promise I won't marry you. We'll just take it slow. And they're like, okay, cool, we'll take it slow. And then it just goes and fast forward.
To 60.
They're perfect for each other. We always have known this.
Yeah.
This has been the most perfect for each other couple from beginning to end on the show. And I mean, down to the fact that she Googles him and she's like, Fab says, oh, he's a pirate for Halloween. She's like, oh, I was his wench. It's like pirate wench. He'll be a good father. I want to marry you. It all goes together.
They make sense. They're not round peg, square hole. They're like round peg and like hole.
Just a hole.
They just go together. That was really bad. But and
that's not a sexual innuendo at all for those of you at home.
At all. But Bruce, another example of Bruce being a really good friend, like with the whole Maya situation, when he saw that Tom went into the bathroom a few episodes back, and he knew that Tom was in there, and he got Tom to man up and punch him in the face in front of Maya.
I see it there.
I did you the favor. I set you up. And he even admits that to Tom. And he's like, he's just a really all around. He wants to be the douchey guy. He is the douchey guy, but he's still all around is the good guy.
But he's sassy comedic relief.
With Bruce, I'm like in the midst of you guys, neither here nor there, because the whole the whole season he's talking about smashing and getting laid.
Sure.
And in reality, he turned down smashing twice with Fab and Hot Pumpkin Patch.
Yeah.
Pumpkin Pounder.
Pumpkin Pounder.
I know we're done with Bruce, but I just love the scene or the moment where Pumpkin Pounder, whoever you are, mushes his whole chin hair. It was so awesome. She's like, it's more orange than I remember. I loved it. I was like, dang. Again, writers, man, I know y'all gonna do something big. So we're in full support of you guys.
Absolutely.
100%.
So 2 of my very, very favorite characters who we have they never smashed, but I thought they were going to come close, and Liv and Ron. And, the fact that the adventures of Liv and Ron, super extreme. I was so happy that she left Jim. And when they decide to, not necessarily hook up, but come together in this episode, she's right away, I want to do something adventurous. I want to do something dangerous.
Sure.
I want to do something so extreme. And he's like, I want to take it to the next level. And he's like, I love the next level. Let's do the next level. She's like, I want to do it with elephants. And he's like, that is just, what did he say?
Disgusting.
He's like, that's just appalling. He's not having elephants. He's thinking sexual. She's like, I want to go to India.
Which we all knew was going to happen. Because that's been on her mind, and that's why her last relationship didn't work out, because she's always wanted to go to India to do the eat, pray, love, find yourself kind of moment. And, her fiance obviously just kept derailing that. So now we find she wants to do it on her own, which is...
Wait, but my question is, did Ron foot the bill?
Let's not jump too far ahead, but yes, he did. And, we see that...
But she didn't have the itinerary or any of that information, so I think she ends up paying for herself, and because she wants to do it all on her own. She said she didn't even know if she was in an aisle or a window seat, and I I don't know. I truly think that she'll.
That's the thing. I think that with her wanting to take it to go to India, and you know, Ron is all for it. Ron has pushed her throughout this entire evening to places that she's never been before, and she needed that. She needs to be with somebody like that. But before she can be with someone like that, she's got to discover who she is as an individual. Liv has always been a safe, secure kind of person, and she's always colored inside the lines and never never outside of the box. And as a result of that, if she goes 0 to 60 again, as she's always done, and does this trip with Ron, she's going to regret it, and she's now needing to not regret things. And so for her, as she's in the cab with Ron, and he now is taking control of the situation, and she realizes that when she gets the phone call from Maya, that he is, planning the trip as far as booking the 4 seasons and getting the visas and, first class tickets. Do you want a window seat or an aisle seat? She's always left everything up to Jim to do. Everyone else has always been in control, and Maya calls her out on that, and she doesn't want to talk about that because she's not an in control kind of person. And so for Liv,
I kind of feel like she was talking to herself while she was talking to Maya. She was giving Maya her pep talk, but in doing so, like I continue to do in my life, there is like a moment of reflection when you're talking to somebody where you're giving them advice, but really you're giving yourself advice. And I think that's what happened.
I agree.
Might I just say, because I sat quietly and I appreciate all of your input on this Liv and Ron situation. I was highly upset at this portion of Mixology.
Yeah, I agree.
Liv, I'm very disappointed in how she closed out. I was frustrated for Ron, and not in a sexual way. I feel like so. Ron has gone through all these ups and downs with this woman. Her fiance showed up. She's left him, come back. She's left him, come back. She left the entire frickin' bar and then comes all the way back to him to make out with him again. There's only so many times that a guy can open himself up. I know we're men, so you guys are like, oh, well, he'll get over it. There's only so many times a guy can open his heart to be like, okay, we're going forward with this. He does that like 3 times in one night with this same woman, okay? That being said, now he's finally gotten to the place where they're going home, they're going forward, they're going next level, and this chick says, let's go to India. Mind you, same night. Don't forget that this is all in one night. She says, let's go to India, and Ron has to expand his mind to say, she is that important to me. I've opened my heart up yet for a 3rd time. She's that important to me that even India did not deter him.
I agree.
Which is a very expensive trip, and his grandfather used to own.
Yes. So he goes, this is going to be so expensive, which leads me to believe he did foot the bill.
I think so.
Ron says, listen, I'll sort everything out, meaning financially, we'll get it all done. But he's not like Debo in the situation. He's not a Jim who just took control and is like, this is what we're going to do, this is how it's going to happen. Every step of the way he's going, where would you like to sit? What would you like to do? Do you like this? Do you like that?
Yeah.
I think he's being a gentleman.
I agree.
I thought Ron, I was so livid at Liv because I thought Ron played every single bit of this to perfection and was a super sweet guy, super there. He even said to her, and I quote, I'm just trying to help, because she got frustrated in the cab with him. Okay. I'm just trying to help. What else do you want from me?
You could tell at the end, too, he kept saying, come on, Liv, are you serious? And he was just kind of trying to shake sense into her, and I could feel for him.
You could see his heart breaking.
Not because he was wanting
stressed out,
some action.
So now this
he was
chick
just
goes,
like, I've invested so much in you, I want to see the sorrow, you know.
This chick goes here's the end of my soapbox. I don't know whether I'm a window or an aisle, and she thinks that's crazy. Okay, yeah, I think it's crazy too. You need to figure that out. You're like almost 30, or maybe more older than 30. She doesn't know who she is.
She's 28.
She's 28. Figure it out. I mean, she has a good job. She's a lawyer, for crying out loud. She's not like some 28-year-old that, you know, spent 9 years in college just floating around. She knows exactly what she's been wanting to do her whole life. She knew she wanted to go to India, I thought. Why bring it up? Then she goes, you know, I got to do this on my own. I'm out. If I'm Ron, first off, she would have heard it from me in a major way. Sorry, but I would have had to give her the business in that cab.
Which would have been what?
I can't say because I'm not going into that. But as y'all can hear my vocal tone, I am pissed.
Now,
I would have been super pissed.
think about it this way. Let's rewind to Ron and his history and who Ron is as a person before he threw up in Jessica's purse. And the 3 women who invested in his company of God knows what, of internet, something that he made up and all of that, and how he treated women in the past. This is karma biting Ron right in the ass.
See, but I'm not
And
a
I
karma
know-
believer.
I know.
We can't judge Ron on his history.
No, and we're not judging Ron. And who's to say? Who's to say that Liv does not come back and Ron not be there? Like, this could be a very good lesson for Ron that when you invest in someone, now he didn't have to go and pay all that money. He didn't have to say, okay, let's go to India. How about let's go get some Indian food? Now, the cab driver who ruined the buzz for her, as far as the trip, like you should go to Vegas instead, and
There's
you
a
know,
candy museum. Oh, jeez.
which was hilarious.
shut
He's
up.
like, or what are you, one of those those whiteys that like read Eat, Pray, Love, and now you want to go discover yourself, you know?
Which is what she was doing. I can't believe she was going to do that in a man's life. Ron's life is involved here.
You know,
his emotions, his feelings.
The thing is for Ron to go and jump and do something like that, that very day, he just lost everything. Yeah. He lost his business. He lost his, like, everything. He lost everything.
So he's turning it around. He found something he wanted to invest in, someone. And he's taking a huge chance. And here's this girl trying to grow up at my expense.
It was too extreme. If she needed to find herself, like, it was just too extreme for
The
me.
whole thing was extreme. She met a guy. She gave Maya's panties. She, you know, she was supposed to go home and watch Devious Maids at like 10 o'clock. She stayed till 2 a.m. You know, she was supposed to send out her wedding invitations. Her fiance came in. She was making out with Ron. Like, she broke up with her fiance that night. The whole night's extreme. For her to jump on a plane with a stranger, like, that's extreme. I mean, she's practically drunk. Let's time out. Whoa, kids. I would have to be like, I can't get on a plane with you. Like, let's be realistic, dude.
Yeah, but
For him to expect that is batshit.
I personally would have loved it wrapped up where they go home together, maybe they go get some Indian food, and say, you know, you're great, I really enjoy your company, and either they end on the friend note or they had sex or whatever, and they just leave it at that, and then she decides to go find herself as opposed to bringing him on this personal journey with herself.
She could have broke him off a little bit for the night at least. I mean, I think that's the least she could have done. But in closing, from my perspective, if I'm Ron, there's no way I'm talking to this woman again. Period. I can't do it. Yeah, she's too up and down. She's an emotional roller coaster.
And she's dealing with a lot right now emotionally that she needs to get through in order to be able to focus on another individual that she could care about possibly.
That's too much expectation from Ron. First of all, he should have been like, let's go to India tomorrow.
But he doesn't bring up India. Ron, his expectation level is merely to my apartment. That's it. It's this chick who now she invokes India. Yeah. She invokes this whole master plan, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go with it because I dig you that much.
And you don't ever go on a trip with a guy unless you are pretty serious about them. I mean, let's be honest.
That's rule one from Courtney Nejedly.
She
but
was drunk.
don't ever go on a trip with
And
a
you
guy.
just want to like worry about how like Liv, how it's gonna if they did a season 2, like how would she survive being Liv, not like evolve the person she wants to be,
Sure.
but getting off that plane in India by herself.
I
Like,
would see her sitting in the airport, not even getting on the plane. Wind up in that 8 minutes, sobering up, and realizing she's being crazy because Liv is a play it safe kind of person. She needs to think things through. And it was that 8 minutes that in the cab she thought things through and was like, "What am I doing?"
I don't think anybody was drunk. Look at all our cast of characters.
Yeah.
Nobody
Wait
was
a
drunk
second.
except for Fab.
Liv was totally drunk. She was
Except
walking
for
around
Fab.
with one shoe.
Earlier in the night,
Yeah,
but by the
she's
time we
sobered
got
up.
down to elephants, she knew she was focused in. She knew what she wanted.
Yeah.
I 100% blame
She was
Liv, and
squawking
I'm
like
upset
a
at her.
chicken
I
in the
agree.
car.
Yeah, but that's
To
just
her
her
friend.
personality.
That's her friend.
And she was trying to convey the message. You're being a chicken, so naturally she made a chicken noise.
And it
'Cause
worked.
she's cute
She's
and
like
she's
12
little
at
and she's
heart.
funny.
Yeah.
That's what she, yeah. I'm livid at Liv. Liv. You
Yeah.
know better than that.
Liv.
At least go to the man's apartment. Be like, hey, Ron, I don't know what I was on just now.
No, sex complicates things. For a girl like Liv, sex complicates things.
And making out 2 and 3 times, not just making out. The storybook run up from across the bar make out.
That's true.
Come on,
Well,
dog.
she's a storybook kind of girl.
This storybook was like
Making
they
out.
Open
ended
and
it
close.
abruptly. Yeah, I know. It's like,
Making out, yes.
They opened it, they closed
Sex,
it, they
you're
opened
not
it.
You got real excited real quick.
dang, they tore out the last 10 pages. We're like, how does this end? Storybook, Liv. I'm
So-
very upset.
So Ron clearly went home disappointed and probably pissed and sad at the same time.
Or because we don't see that.
Or
We
as-
don't see the cab drive
As
off.
Bruce says, he's on the slow bus to masturbation
Because
town.
they left everything kind of.
Yeah,
open.
no, I'm just thinking
so
in
for
my head
all
how
we
he would've-
know, he could have gotten out of the cab. He could have chased her down. He could have waited a little bit. She could have stopped. She could have turned around.
Ron, if you chased her down, I'm so mad at you, dude.
Or I mean, she
I'm
could have.
so mad.
She could have once again did what Liv has been doing all night.
Flip flop.
Yeah, they left the writers left us hanging because, we all know
In
that.
hopes of the season 2.
Really
Yes.
quickly, you women and your emotions. I know that women are a lot more emotional than men.
Yes, she could have been PMSing.
Except
so.
if she was PMSing, then she should have told Ron early so he could have hit the eject button and jumped out that plane.
Why do you think she's wearing gigantic granny panties?
Because she's Liv and she
Yeah.
deserves a gym.
She was rocking.
Go to gym.
She was rocking some granny panties for a
Don't
reason.
do that to Ron. Ron's my boy. He worked hard. And Ron, not to mention, Ron hit the eject button on Jessica. He had
Yeah.
Jessica in the bag. Easy layup.
Yeah, but he wasn't excited about Jessica because Jessica is the mom that lives in New Jersey with the kid, and she
Right.
lied about who she
Right.
was.
But we're still talking about sex on the first night meeting someone, and he could have gotten that. Now he got
But
an expensive drink tab and a cab ride home.
He was so excited with Liv because I think they were both kind of like interested in new things and just in a different, in that place of their life where they could rewrite their stories essentially.
I
Sure.
don't think he was into Jessica.
I think
way
they,
he was into
they
Liv.
were into each other from afar, but then they met each other in person and they were more or less friends.
Ron is like a Dominic. Ron can pull tail. He's got the British accent. That's what we fell in love with in the beginning.
Yeah.
He literally can drive off, stop by another bar, stop by a strip club, and pull tail in another location.
As long as it's not girls, Ron. You know that.
Yeah, exactly. Which apparently now is male
He
strip
didn't
club.
like that part too much.
So, last but not least, our boy, Tom. Our sweet, 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 sweet boy,
The home run hitter.
Tom.
I want a car from Oprah.
I was so excited for him. I mean, the fact that he goes up to Maya and he's like, I want to take you home and make sweet, sweet love to you.
Yeah.
He's such a mama's boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is.
He's a sweet guy. I love Tom. It was great. It was awesome start to finish. Thank you again, writers, for throwing that loophole in there because I thought, man, this dude, he said it. Maya said yes. Maya personally is the hottest girl on the show for me. And I was so excited for him. And here comes the loophole with Laura. That biatch showed up and is outside his door. What's wrong with her?
She didn't have the key.
I love how he took that 8 minutes into consideration. He was like ready to get out of there.
Oh,
She
The
was
whole-
funny.
yeah.
She's
He was
like,
money.
I need to say bye to Liv. No, I saw her. She's,
she said she doesn't want to say bye.
And then didn't Cal tell? He's like, one time like a hookup went wrong because someone's like found a little like
shoe.
a shoe, and then she found a teddy bear, and she's like, "Is that a teddy bear?" It's like, "No," and chucked
he
her
threw
over
it.
the street. I
Oh,
love
hats off to
that.
Tom. He was going through it.
Do you guys
Oh.
feel like he evolved? Because I kind of feel like I was growing up with him. Like
Sure.
he went through this transformation throughout the 13 episodes, and I don't know. I just felt like he like had the, I don't even know, like the birthday or the catalyst moment here at the end where we're just like, yes, we've been rooting for you the entire
Absolutely.
time.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
He was like, "I'm so happy. I'm so happy."
Yeah.
Like,
He learned how to close.
Yes.
He learned so much in one night, and he got a wonderful girl. I think he got the. We all, I
so
believe, are on the same page in saying that this was the heroic relationship of the
Yeah.
season.
Absolutely.
If Maya wouldn't have went back and it would have ended with him with the ex, I would have been very upset because with the Liv and Ron ending,
Well-
if that would have been the case, I would have been.
Absolutely, and the fact that Laura was waiting for him, and they walk into the apartment, all
skank.
three of them, and she's like, "I want to change for you. I want to be the woman that you want me to be," and then she's like, "Who is this? Did you meet her at the book club?" He's like, "No," with the biggest smile on his face. The fact that he's like, "I met her at the bar tonight," and she's like, "What?
Yeah, he accomplished something.
What? Is she a
major?
prostitute?" And Maya, of course, is like, "I get that a lot." Second time tonight that Maya
Which-
has been mistaken as a prostitute.
I just want to point out, and it's not because I think Maya is my favorite, but peep how she handled herself. So composed still.
She is a
in the
woman.
Yeah.
She came in, here's this chick that's going off and saying all kinds of little things, shooting arrows at Maya. Maya never once fired back. She's got a very sharp tongue, and I kind of think she could kick Laura's ass.
Oh,
I
yeah,
agree.
but
And she never went there.
She was letting Tom make this decision. She
On his
also
own, be a big boy.
knew what this relationship meant to Tom, and he obviously was invested so much in Laura that she wanted not to be that divider between the two of them, if that was what was meant to be.
Yeah.
And I like how he gave her the wave off when he was making out with Maya. She's like, "Really? Really, Tom?" And he's like, "Peace out."
Hey, Tom stepped up, man. He stepped up. I hated that he mentioned tickle parties, and he was so excited. I love
Yeah.
tickle parties. But I'm so glad that again, the writers they caused Maya to have to face her fear. Tom had to face his. Everybody kind of had to face whatever their deficiency is, which was great.
Absolutely. And the thing is when Liv was in the cab and Maya, they were having their conversation, Liv said to her, she's like, you sound kind of down. What happened with you and Tom? You sound like somebody like on the subway touched your butt. And, she just didn't want to say anything. She's like, Maya, she says to Maya, she goes, "You are a badass at work. Everyone is scared of you. And like, you just like, now is when you're not going to face your emotions kind of thing."
Sure.
So for her to go back and just bust in on Tom and to be emotionally vulnerable for the first time. And she says that she's like, "I've never felt like this. I've never thought that I could feel like this. Like, we have a connection and I want to see where this is going," was a really huge milestone
Huge,
for her.
huge.
It was huge.
She put herself out there. I mean, how hard is it, I think, and you guys can tell me whether or not you agree, but how difficult is it for you to say that I like you to a person? Like, to break that barrier of, hey, it was really good to meet you, but it's like, no, I like you. I'm feeling you. You know what I'm saying?
Like, we're vibing and I dig you.
Yeah, it's real.
It's a big step.
Vulnerable is the word. I mean, Maya has never really had to face vulnerability.
No,
she's always in control and evasive with feelings.
They're very yin and yang,
Yeah.
which is nice. They're a nice fit for each other. And we felt that all through the night. And, she's like, "What are you going to be? You're going to be with this girl who's mean." She's like, "I know what mean girls are like." She's like, "Are you going to be," what did she call them?
Sniveling little bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, sniveling little bitch.
And that just made him realize, like, you know what? This is who I want to be with. And
the key is she did all of that, so she had to face her deficiency, her fear, come in, say all that stuff. That was her step. But Tom also had to take a step, which is
man.
he had to kiss her. She didn't kiss him after all of that. He still had to make the right choice, and he did. So proud of you, Tom. I
Yes.
think we all are.
It's my favorite.
Shedding a tear.
character for
Shedding
sure.
a tear.
Our little boy is grown up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with that being said,
Yeah.
you know, we are loving our mixology, and how this episode, of course, ended for the season finale. And
Let's hope someone picks it up.
let's-
Another network.
Yeah, and
Fingers
so
crossed.
so for our little mini prediction, I will say this: I'm hoping that another network picks it up,
Absolutely.
and that a season 2 ends up, I don't know, maybe Warner Brothers, WB, or
TNT.
like TNT, or
I mean, there's so many
someone.
networks out there. Just grab them.
Season 2. I
They
wanna
got
see what
tremendous
happens.
writers. Tremendous. Seacrest is
Absolutely.
behind it, for crying out
Yeah.
loud.
Come
Ryan,
on.
do something. Fox. He's on Fox.
You know,
Something.
and if not, the writers were incredibly talented,
Sure.
very
I'm
sure we'll be
creative with the
seeing them again.
storylines.
Hats off to you guys.
Yeah, and I just am excited for whatever you guys do next because I'll be behind it, and we know it's going to be
Absolutely.
good.
I want to
Absolutely.
see
So.
Bruce tap Jessica. I want to see Liv end up with
So
Ron.
much more to come.
Adventures of Maya and Tom.
And we'll never forget Barology. Thank you guys for
Yes,
blessing us
absolutely.
with the Barology.
I learned way
We'll
too
be
much.
waiting for the book.
All the rules, all the codes, all everything. It was tremendous. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. And for all you AfterBuzzers out there, tell us what you think. Go to iTunes, download us, rate, comment, give us 5 stars. Also, you can go to YouTube. You can watch us there as well.
Yep.
And hang out with us on our Twitters, on our Facebooks, on our Instagrams. Where can they find you guys, ladies?
You can find me on Instagram at 3FLife, and for Twitter, you can follow me at Courtney Nejedly.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Candice Buen, CandiBuen.
And y'all already know I am more fire. I want y'all out there to start pushing. We want more mixology. More mixology.
More Mixology. You can find me on Twitter at Miriam L. Gonzalez and on Instagram at MiriamG1. And you can also follow us here at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter and on Facebook.
Yeah.
And until, hopefully, fingers crossed, season 2,
Yeah.
this is us. And that's it for Mixology.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.